What is going on, everybody? I hope you've been enjoying War of the Visions as much as I have lately. There's been a lot of good content coming up. At least there's been a lot of content, kind of whether it's good or not depends on your personal preference. But I've definitely been enjoying a decent amount of it. I feel like there's almost too much to do in this game. So, definitely been enjoying what is good in this game. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Shadowlynx, who I've been deliberating on. At first, I was like super 100% gonna go for her, but I wasn't realizing that she's a 70 cost unit. Um, but in general, these crystal warriors, or the crystals, whatever you want to call them, they're kind of hard to get in general. So even though she's 70 cost, that doesn't mean she's necessarily bad. The only thing that kind of means is a better pull rate. But I think I'm still gonna go for her. I already did the first step of buying the Visor Pack H and getting 100 shards of hers for that. So I might as well go for her now and just grab her here. So let me just go ahead and do that. Bam. Okay. All right. There it is. I was about to say that was the most unceremonious purchase ever. So they know exactly how to tempt people. Okay, so I think the strategy on this is to go for the soul stars. I don't really know if I have that many soul stars, but go for the soul stars before you do the Vingle board so that you can maximize the shards you get for free, quote unquote. So that's definitely pretty good. So on top of that, I'm gonna also go ahead and grab the first set of Crystal Warriors. I am missing two of those, so that's another thing I've been kind of deliberating on is who to pick between Doom and Astrius, and I am gonna go for drumroll, please. I'm gonna go for Astrius, and basically part of the reason is because Shadowlynx is water, and yeah, I'm just gonna go for that. So let me just go ahead and grab him. Boom. So this to me is an amazing deal. Um, it's not. I know he's an older unit and he's not quite meta. I think he's still going to be pretty good for me, so I'll definitely grab him. And he's already going to be 120, so definitely we've gotten 2,000 paid choices that are not entirely level 120, so definitely a good value there. And look, all his mind spheres are going to convert into all his metals are going to convert into mind spheres. And since he's repeated so many times before, I definitely have a decent amount of mind spheres that I'm gonna get for him. So definitely super good there. Um, but yeah, I feel like War of the Visions is doing pretty good. Let me do this poll too. War of the Visions is doing pretty good in terms of giving us good stuff. A lot of the other gacha games that I play, they take advantage of the holidays to give you like ridiculously bad deals, or to kind of just put a unit behind a paywall. So far there hasn't been a 100% paywall unit in War of the Vision. So I don't know. I feel like they're doing something right. So I think I'm not sure if Helena is worth it anymore for me since I grabbed her for the selection ticket, but maybe Grifford is definitely going to be a good one. So, but this is going to be a daily thing. I still have to finish up my Alaya the Alabaster, so super good to get that. In terms of the Hollow Vision cards, I think I'm gonna be skipping these. So I don't know. I just feel like I haven't been getting good value, so I'm just not even gonna go for it. Scrolling to the bottom. Actually, we don't even have to scroll to the bottom. Um, we also got some tickets from Lunar New Year that I haven't used, so let's go ahead and use them. I think you can get a bunch of like rainbow spheres and like all those other good materials out of this on top of a summon. So looks like we didn't get anything in terms of the summon. We got a blossom. We didn't get any rainbow spheres. Oh, we did get 30 potions and 30 more potions. So that's okay for free. I'll take that for sure. So that's not actually too bad. All right, so let me go ahead and go for some of these tickets. I don't remember even getting this JP 4th anniversary 4 units, 4 UR units. So let's go ahead and get that one. Okay. And let's see who we got. We got Rain, we got Chunok, Alright, so some units that I haven't built yet, and believe it or not, I still haven't finished Yerma. So I'm actually kind of glad to have her because I heard that she's gotten pretty good. So these were actually some pretty good pulls, except for Rain, but Rain is kind of a good unit anyway, so I'll take that. I might actually reincarnate him a few times. Alright, so I'm just gonna do units. Here's another unit one. Alright, so then after I'm done pulling for units, I feel like I'm missing a pull too. I'm just gonna go back into I'm just gonna review some of my units that I've gotten from selection pulls and whatever other free tickets and whatnot. So we'll go over that when we get there. Let's do this one too. Let's see what we get here. I probably should have turned off the skip animation. Alright, Girel is one that I kind of rushed to kind of try to finish. So I feel like after I finished her, I pulled her like 3 or 4 times already. So maybe I'll start reincarnating her a bit. I feel like she would be good to start reincarnating. Alright, so already got Shadowlynx, so we don't have to worry about that. I don't think there was any other free pulls, so I'm not going to do anything else. And then the only other thing I wanted to talk about here is sort of just like how much the free pulls and the selection tickets have helped to build out some teams and some units. So right away, you guys already see Helena there. Pretty recent unit. I was surprised that we just got a selection between her and Elda. Granted, she's not really limited, but I feel like she's definitely an amazing unit to have. And to be able to select her at 120, that was pretty much a no-brainer for me. The only bad part about that is not having any more paid viz. I think I still have like 4K, but I feel like it's a good time to use it when it comes to that. So let's go next into Velis. Now Velis, I didn't really necessarily get him from a selection pull. Technically I did, but I went to pity. I feel like that was when Astrius came out, or maybe one time where it reran after that, where you got to just get a selection ticket at the end instead of a specific unit. I did pull Renan along the way, and I feel like this was probably like 2 years ago, and I've kind of been really slow building Velis, and I honestly haven't used him until now that A2 came out, and I'm realizing that he's still actually very good. So I feel like he's been pretty worth it, and obviously if you don't have him, I feel like he's a very good choice to pick for the selection unit. But I'm just super glad that they're kind of bringing back some use for an older unit, or more so that he's held value. I feel like he has held value. It's just that people haven't really put him into teams. So it kind of just, not only is it the value of him, but it's also just whether or not you want to use him and whether or not there's other units that you would want to use him on. So continuing on, where we're going to talk about Jayden the Celebrated, I think is his name. Kind of a unit that went under the radar. I ended up picking him for my 120 selection, and that was the selection that did not include Helena or Elda. So I went with him over Sterne. I really wanted Sterne, but I went with him over Sterne because I feel like I had gotten more shards for Sterne, you know, from like the monthly shards that we get, and like probably from some other sources. So I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna build a unit from scratch, I might as well build Sterne up and then just get Jayden for 120, because I didn't have him at the time. So I was just like, all right, I'll just get him 120 and I'll get Sterne with the normal ticket. But since A2 came out, I've been using him and I actually think he's really good. I understand why people wouldn't want to call him like top tier, but I feel like he's a lot of fun to use, and I feel like he's pretty useful in terms of like reducing AP of the other team, and I feel like he's pretty sturdy in terms of like being a bruiser sort of unit, bruiser support unit. So I feel like he's been pretty good, and I'm actually pretty glad that I selected him for 120, because other than that, I don't think I would have built him, at least not with any kind of urgency. Alright, so next one is going to be Perene. So Perene I got from the random pull. I know a lot of people got like King Mount from that, but it was like a 50-50 shot for me of getting a unit that would be useful to me. So I ended up getting Perene. So I threw her in the barracks instantly, because we had like that 2 or 3 times barracks and then we had like two or like I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been 3 times or like 5 times or something shards for hard quest. So I was able to get her up maybe like a few weeks ago. But she's been one that I'm kind of been looking forward to getting up. So I'm super glad to have her. Haven't really used her yet, but I know she's really good. I've seen other people use her. Definitely think she's really good. So I'm excited to actually get her to 140 and then start using her. Sterne, next up is Sterne. Super excited to use him. He's technically a year-old unit at this point, but I kind of think of him as sort of like the people's champion of the game. Just because I feel like he's probably the most character development, or like one of the most. So definitely glad to have him. Still haven't gotten a chance to use him, but I think that's probably because I don't have light units that I'm really super excited to use him with. But now that I have Helena, I'll probably throw Bart's in there too. Once I get him to 120, I'll just get him to 140 instantly. And I'm gonna be happy to use him. I don't really know if he's super amazing, but I do know that he does have some pretty good utility, so definitely excited to use him. Alaya the regular, I think I pulled her off of the, like, when we got the 750 total random free pulls. I pulled her off of that sometime, and I didn't realize at first that she was also getting the shard bonus and the barrack shard bonus and the hardquest bonus for being a transcendence unit. So for whatever reason, I waited like a week or two before throwing her in, and that's kind of why she's a little lower than Perene. But I feel like she would have been done by now. Maybe I was working on some other units, some collaboration units. So maybe it was just a matter of the I didn't want to take up the barrack shard slot for her. So I don't know why my Alaya is 115. I think I got her pretty much at the same time as Sterne, but Sterne, I know I invested a lot of like those monthly shards into him, and I invested soul mind spheres from the mock shop. So that's probably why I was able to get him up much faster than Alaya. I think Alaya I still have close to like 180 to go. So, still not there yet. I'm still afraid to face Alaya, even with like an Earth team. I've been using an Earth team with 2P, and it's still not like a guaranteed win. So I feel like Alaya is still good. So whenever I can get her up, that will be great. So yeah, I am kind of just thinking about my account and just thinking like, wow, I've actually been able to get up some pretty decent units. For some of them were selections, so they were obviously paid, but some of them were like very easy builds, or on top of the selection, they were very easy builds. If I had gotten Sterne from one of the random pulls, I probably wouldn't have had to pay for him. So it kind of just depends on the luck of the draw there. But I probably got some other units that I didn't end up building, like, not saying that he's bad, like Grifford or Gernsback or something like that. So if one of those would have been Sterne, even though those are 70 cost, if one of those would have been Sterne, I probably would have just built him up for free and just kind of rushed him with like soul medals and star medals, whatever they're called. But that's kind of what my strategy was in terms of kind of rushing him. And it's really, so Black Friday was like 3 months ago at this point. Transcendence Festival was before that, maybe like a month before that. So just to kind of give an idea of how long it's taken me to build these units up. But overall, I'm pretty happy that I've been able to build them, because I've got a whole bunch of other units that I haven't built up quite yet. Soul is coming to mind. And honestly, I feel like slow building isn't as good as it used to be, because there's just so many units coming out at once. So I'm kind of even thinking of like Leela the Bold. I feel like I should have built her up by now, but she's still in like LB3 or something. So, you can't have everything, but there's certain units that are favorites. I mean, Leela the Bold is definitely a favorite, but I guess I'm just prioritizing other units over her. So And I'm kind of thinking of Renan too. He's another one that I just got, and I just haven't really built him. Even though I feel like he's gotten some utility recently. Alright, so that's enough blabbing for me. It's kind of like a little bit of an account review, but I'm kind of just, in general, just grateful to have been able to get some units with relatively low amounts of work or spending. So I feel like that's been good for this game. So anyway, let me end my little rant there, and I'll catch you guys later. I'm just happy to have these units now. Alright guys, take care, peace out.